Hey everybody, and welcome to another segment of AstrologyAnswers.com's weekly forecast. My name is Terence. The week begins on Monday, March the 18th, 2024. Big week as we're going into the first day of spring, or in the southern latitudes, the first day of autumn. And at the very end of the week, it's wrapping up with a major full moon lunar eclipse. All right, on Monday the 18th, the moon, which always describes the overall emotional tone and reactions, is in sensitive, nurturing Cancer. That moon in Cancer, we're more inclined to want to stay at home, be more involved with domestic chores, but it can also be a time of a lot of mood swings. But it's a good day overall because the moon will be in harmony with expansive, generous Jupiter from about 6-7 a.m. Pacific time. This Jupiter will kind of bring a lot of upbeat optimism for the general tone. Great energy to start the new work week. And at the end of the day, 5-6 p.m. Pacific time, now the emotional moon is in harmony with innovative, progressive Uranus. So it makes for maybe some unexpected, exciting events and opportunities happening in the early evening. Now, on Tuesday, the moon continues in Cancer, but by late morning Pacific time, the moon in Cancer, a water sign, will be in harmony with the sun in Pisces, a water sign. When the sun and the moon are in harmony, it brings a lot more comfort, where things work out more effortlessly, good for relationships. Then at 12:33 p.m. Pacific time, the moon leaves emotional, nurturing Cancer and goes into extroverted, outgoing, playful Leo. Leo is a fire sign. Fire is energetic, it's inspirational, and the moon will be in Leo for those next 2.5 days. But by early evening, around 8 p.m. Pacific time, the sun leaves the sign of sensitive Pisces and moves into Aries, ruled by fiery warrior Mars. That as the sun goes into Aries later on Tuesday, it starts a whole new cycle of enthusiasm, good for initiating new projects. It's called the first day of spring, in the northern latitudes, the spring equinox. Equinox, equal daylight, equal darkness. And it's a very important cycle for launching new beginnings, new projects. And with the sun in Aries, a fire sign, and the emotional moon in Leo, a fire sign, there's a lot of motivation, enthusiasm, inspiration to hit the ground running. On Wednesday, as the moon continues in dynamic Leo, it's going to be in a hard angle to Jupiter. But Jupiter is that expansive, optimistic energies. Now, this is going to happen early evening Pacific time. The downside you have to be careful about is there's a tendency to have overinflated expectations or to overindulge. Now, you're going to be in a really good mood, so any kind of events Wednesday evening, there's a lot of, upbeat, optimistic energy supporting it, but you might overdo it. Spend too much money, eat too much, drink too much, but you're really enjoying yourself. On Thursday, the moon continues in dynamic Leo, but the sun will be in harmony with Pluto, and Venus will be crossing over Saturn. Big, important day. The Pluto represents our inner life, secrets. It's associated with psychology, the occult, so astrology, psychology, the occult, and the sun for the day is putting a real spotlight on it on a positive level. So there might be more interest in doing a lot of self-reflection, with counseling, with having an astrology reading. And it may be partly because Venus, the planet of relationships and love, will be crossing Saturn, realistic, responsible Saturn. Venus-Saturn can test relationships. And if you have a solid foundation, that Venus-Saturn may compel you to work harder on establishing and strengthening the relationship. If you have a weak relationships, all the cracks and the problems will really show up. But the positive is there is enough energy here to want to work on the relationship, especially with the sun in harmony with Pluto, the planet of transformation, of introspection, of counseling and astrology. So it could be a testing in your relationship compels many of you to do a lot of soul searching and counseling, or maybe having an astrology reading about your relationship. On Friday, now the moon is in Virgo. Virgo is an earth sign. Virgo is sensible, it's practical, it's work-oriented. So we're coming out of the moon in Leo, so that whole public tone is much more outgoing and dynamic. Then it goes into Virgo, and it's time to get the job done. Really focus your attention on your daily work tasks. Now, Mars is a 2-year cycle, meaning it goes through all the signs every 2 years or around the solar system. Mars is the warrior planet. Mars is about ambition and drive and assertiveness. But on March the 22nd, it goes into Pisces until May the 8th. So Mars goes through each sign for about 6 weeks in general. But the positive of energetic Mars in Pisces, let's always start with the positive, because Mars is actually is weakened in Pisces, because Mars is very focused, goal-oriented, and that Pisces can diffuse the energy, cause one to be unfocused. Now, this is the background energy for these next 6 weeks. But the positive is that drive, anything represented by Pisces, that Mars can give the enthusiasm and drive to pursue it. Pisces is spiritual matters, charity, healing, dancing, yoga, swimming, because Pisces is ruled by Neptune. Neptune is the god of the seas. On Saturday, the moon continues in sensible, work-oriented Virgo, but 8 to 9 a.m. Pacific time, the moon will be in harmony with expansive Jupiter. You could be starting the weekend on Saturday, feeling with a lot of optimism and hopefulness, good for making travel plans, educational plans, looking to the future, all things that are represented by Jupiter. And by 6, 7 p.m. Pacific time, now the moon is going to be in harmony with exciting, innovative Uranus. Now, sometimes with the moon in Uranus, there could be a little bit too excitement. But it's in Virgo. The moon's in Virgo. So there's more of us being sensible, being practical, but then in harmony with Uranus, so you're not going to go over the top, but going into a Saturday evening, you're more open to try something new, break old habits, try something different, something more exciting that you're not used to doing on a Saturday evening. And then we go into Sunday. Now, the moon continues in Virgo, but will go void of course at 8:50 a.m. Pacific time to 1:38 p.m. Pacific time, at which point the moon goes into Libra. When the moon is void of course, just stay with your routine. It's good for resting, but it's not advised to introduce any major new projects. Now, Venus, the planet of harmony and relationships, will be very favorable all day with expansive Jupiter. So it's a really good day for relationships, for socializing, and this full moon lunar eclipse is in the sign of Libra. And Libra is ruled by Venus. So the lunar eclipse is bringing all relationship matters to a head, but the Venus in harmony with Jupiter is bringing more luck, more optimism. A full moon lunar eclipse is going to test relationships and bring a lot of matters to a head. But because of the Venus-Jupiter in harmony, this could be when you have a breakthrough of positive reconciliation with relationships because of the lunar eclipse. I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you next week with my next segment. Until then, be safe and well.